I told them that I was a sickle cell, but they didn't believe me until my mommy told them that I was actually a sickle cell. That's when they now believed me. They apologized for laughing, then they now started treating me nicely.
I've been in a relationship where the parent told the person I was going out with that they don't live longer. There's no hope in getting married to this person, and they wouldn't want their child to go into a short marriage.
Some of it are, let's start with our cultural and religious beliefs that this is not a genetic problem. They don't see it as a medical problem. They see it as spiritual in Africa. So these are the kind of things we want people to know, that this is a medical condition and can be managed. When you give birth to a child and the child is always falling sick, high fever, always crying and all that, automatically people will think that, okay, the child is possessed. Some people believe that it is contagious. Before all the medical interventions, children die before the age of 5, not because it's spiritual, but because there's lack of hospital care and proper drugs. But with hospital care and proper drugs now coming into play, there's a bit of improvement, and warriors can live to 90 years.
So the parents need to be educated that if their genotype does not match for use at least AS or AA, they should not go ahead and marry.
I am still blessed. There's a lot of pain associated with it, but I'm still thankful. You know what I'm saying? I'm still grateful. I mean, regardless of everything, I still have someone who was able to kind of, damn the consequences and say, okay, yo, forget about what other girls have said. I'm going to marry you, regardless of what they've said. I'm going to take a risk on you. And she did. And I got married, and I have 2 kids.
For me, it has helped me to build a lot of positivity. Because I've been surrounded by so many negativity, I just had to develop it. But then, you can be stronger than anything that is thrown at you by life. If you choose to be strong, if you let situation, you don't have to be a victim all the time.
For children with sickle cell, your life is still ahead of you. You can be anything in life. There is no limit to how far you can get to.
Well, thank you for joining us on Plus News Update. I am Vivian Oguche. So over 1,000 civil servants blocked the entrance gate to the Imo State House in Owerri. The civil servants who arrived at the government house in Owerri as early as 8 a.m. stopped vehicles from going in and out of the premises. The development caused panic at the government house as security men manning the gate battled in vain to disperse the protesting civil servants. Carrying their letters of appointments and postings, the resolute civil servants said that they were at the government house to prove to the state governor, Hope Uzodinma, that they were not ghost workers.
Most of us have been old for a year, some 11 months, some 10 months. Personally, I'm being old for
Okay. What is the compliance of the state government?
There is no compliance from the state. They are always using one trick or the other to overwhelm us from time to time. Initially, they were saying it was the BVN and account number problem or clash. It has been corrected and nothing has been done. And even if it is done, they have not been able to go to their data bank to do some level of corrections on it. So all of us are being owed. Till now, for somebody to be owed for 1 year or a year and a month means we are under suffering. We cannot continue like this.
We come here today because of unpaid salary of workers of Imo State that have been owned many 12 years, many 11 months, many 9 months. Many people, they have been paying them and be skipping and putting more people inside. That is why we are here to declare that we are not a ghost. We are a living.
Well, still staying with Imo State, the State Police Command has paraded the suspects who allegedly kidnapped the auxiliary bishop of Owerri Archdiocese, Moses Chikwe, and his driver on the 27th of December 2020. Briefing newsmen at the command headquarters in Owerri, the police public relations officer, Orlando Ikyoku, said the 3 suspects were arrested following a painstaking investigation. The suspects claim they never knew he was a bishop.
On the 27th December 2020, Imo State made headlines with the kidnap of the auxiliary bishop of Owerri Archdiocese, Bishop Moses Chikwe, and his driver, Ndubisi Robert. As a result of that, operatives of the command swung into action, and by the grace of God, during a strategized and coordinated operation, we were able to secure the release of the bishop, his driver, and other people held captives unhurt without any ransom paid.
So that day now, after that day, in the night when we are driving back, we saw a car and we traced the car. So once we are tracing the car, we block the driver blocked the car, and when he blocked the car, we bring 2 people inside, 1 driver and 1 man wearing white garment. The man said that he's a bishop. I said to him, let him leave the man. He commanded us to put that man inside the motor. We'll take the man to the keke bus. He said, no, let us put the man inside his vehicle. We'll carry that man and his driver to his car.
The police also paraded one Emmanuel Ogbonna for attempting to burn down the residence of the late Justice Chukwudifu Oputa in an attempt to call the government's attention to his unemployment.
Something moved me and I burnt somebody's house in my community.
Who is the person?
He's popularly known as Charlie Boy. He's the son of Chief Justice Oputa. The family house of Chief Justice Oputa.
Health concerns now. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has reported 9 COVID-19 related deaths and 187 new infections on Wednesday. The NCDC said on its official Twitter handle that the agency recorded 2 deaths on the 16th of March, adding that the country had registered 2,027 deaths since the pandemic emerged in the country on the 27th of February 2020. Now, the country has tested 1,684,305 people since the first confirmed case of the disease. Meanwhile, the Ogun State government has urged members of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria to enroll in the state government's health insurance scheme, saying that it will be of great benefit to them. Commissioner for Health in Ogun State, Dr. Tomi Koka, made this known in her address shortly after the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RTAN, donated medical equipment to the Ogun government. Dr. Koka commended the transport union workers for the kind gesture. She also said the state government would use the equipment judiciously and for the benefit of residents.
Your gesture today actually aligns with his vision of providing quality, affordable, and accessible healthcare for every single one of us. To speak specifically to your group as the Road Transport Employers Association, you mentioned the fact that you're the part of the population that is at risk of accidents. And our desire would be to engage with you through our insurance scheme, which we are developing. We're starting to roll it out to the organized private sector so that we can get your members to sign up to the health insurance program of the state, where you contribute a particular amount and any member of your group can turn up at any of our hospitals.
State Chairman of the RTAN, Titilayo Akibu, said the donation is also part of the corporate social responsibility of the association to the state government. Speaking through the state secretary, he said the association had visited the 5 state hospitals and had donated some of their needs.
The nature of our job, we are exposed to so many hazards. And apart from that, we know many people cannot afford to go to private hospitals. And our state hospitals, they need to be refurbished. And government alone cannot handle this. This is just part of, let's call it a corporate social responsibility. We need it, and the time we are in, the pandemic, it affects every sector. And we know, despite the vaccine, the pandemic, we still have so many cases every day. And this is our own way to help government in curbing the pandemic.
And now, Rivers State government has commenced the first phase of COVID-19 vaccination. Governor Nyesom Wike, who performed the flag-off at the Government House in Port Harcourt, described the exercise as historic in the fight against COVID-19. Represented by his deputy, Dr. Balibo Harry Banigo, the governor said since the outbreak of COVID-19 in December 2019, many people have found it difficult to cope. Governor Wike also said the government's effort at COVID-19 containment have been strategic.
We have diagnosed 6,813 positive COVID-19 cases, with over 90% recoveries since the pandemic started, and have performed about 132,240 PCR tests. In both waves of the pandemic, government has demonstrated sufficient commitment to keep the people of Rivers State safe as much as humanly possible. This first phase of the vaccination is mainly for frontline healthcare workers and strategic leaders. In the coming weeks, more citizens will have the opportunity to get vaccinated.
On his part, the State Commissioner for Health, Professor Prince Will Chike, said Governor Wike's response to fighting COVID-19 in the state has been strategic. The Deputy Governor, Dr. Harry Banigo, also said he was vaccinated, as well as the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, among others. Well, to other parts of Africa, Tanzania President John Magufuli has died from heart disease following an 18-day absence from public life. The opposition has urged the immediate swearing-in of Vice President Samia Hassan as successor to avoid a constitutional vacuum. Magufuli's death is the first of a Tanzanian leader while in office. It also opens the prospect that the country will gain its first female president. The Constitution says 61-year-old Hassan should assume the presidency for the remainder of the 5-year term that Magufuli began serving last year after winning a second term. Hassan addressed the nation on television late on Wednesday, saying burial arrangements were underway. Well, outside Africa now, 4 people were killed and 9 others wounded when a roadside bomb hit a bus carrying Afghan government employees in Kabul on Thursday, the 18th of March. A ministry advisor, Abdul Hamid Poya, said that the bus was rented by the Afghan Ministry of Information and Technology to transport employees. No one claimed immediate responsibility for the blast, but the Afghan government has blamed Taliban insurgents for recent attacks targeting government employees, civil society figures, and journalists. The Taliban has, however, denied involvement in the campaign. The bombing comes on the day the Afghan government, Taliban, and key countries, including the United States and Russia, gathered in Moscow to push for a reduction in violence to propel the Afghan peace process forward. Well, some business news now. The latest monthly report of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries has shown that Nigeria increased its crude oil production to 1.42 million barrels per day in February. The country recorded the biggest increase in crude oil production last month among its peers in OPEC. In its monthly oil market report for March, the country's oil production rose by 63,000 barrels to 1.42 million barrels per day in February, based on direct communication. Nigeria produced 1.49 million barrels per day in February, up by 161,000 barrels from 1.33 million barrels per day in January, according to secondary sources. Meanwhile, gold deposits have been discovered along the Abuja-Nasarawa axis through the National Integrated Mineral Exploration Project being undertaken by the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, announced this while playing host to the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, in Abuja. The minister told his guests that the ministry would develop the mineral resources in Nasarawa. He also said his ministry was resolved to avoid a repeat of the Zamfara experience, where bandits were largely in charge of the gold mining in the state. Well, some entertainment news now. Music producer, rapper, and fashion mogul Kanye West is now the richest African-American in the United States. Bloomberg reports that West is officially worth $6.6 billion, making him the richest black man in America's history. Around the same time last year, West became a certified billionaire with the help of his successful apparel and sneaker brand, Yeezy, and a new multi-year contract with Gap. According to Business of Fashion, the Yeezy brand is valued at $3.2 to $4.7 billion. LA Medical Center and Cedar Sinai Medical Center for their care. Woods had previously been hospitalized since the 23rd of February when his SUV hit a sign on a winding residential road in Rolling Hills Estate. Meanwhile, Tokyo Olympics creative head Hiroshi Sasaki says that he was stepping down after making a derogatory comment about a popular female Japanese entertainer. It's the latest controversy over insensitive remarks towards women to hit games organizers. Sasaki said he had told a planning group through a group Tokyo 2020 organizer. Bye for now.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you don't talk, then go beat you. Now 2,500 and they pay.
Most populous state in the country. One of the neighborhoods in the state is Obalende, located in a Tiosa local government area. The area is strategically a historic site because before the relocation of administrative capital from Lagos to Abuja, it was the seat of power of the military head of state, the Dodon Barrack. Historically, a Royal West African Frontier Force, predominantly Hausa men, were initially camped on the land where the famous King's College is situated. Then there was a need for the use of the land, and the Oba of Lagos was said to have pressured the governor of Lagos to resettle the Hausa men and sold the land in what is now Obalende to the British colonial masters. After resettlement in the purchased land, the Royal West Africa Frontier Force men named the place Ibiti Obalewade, which translates to the place where the king drove us to. From the existing 20 local council areas, so the current Obalende is carved out under Ikoyi Obalende Local Council Development Area. Ikorodu town is another historic location in Lagos, located in the northeast area of the state along the Lagos Lagoon and shares a boundary with Ogun State. Currently, the town houses Ikorodu local government area and 5 local council development areas. Kabiru Shotobi is the king of Ikorodu, traditionally known as Ayogbunre of Ikorodu, who ascended the throne from October 24, 2015. The name Ikorodu came about from people whose ancestors descended from the Remo stock of Yoruba tribe who came to settle on a plateau and named it Ikorodu, a shortened word from Oko Odu, which literally means Odu, farm. The current metro area population of Ikorodu in 2021 is 989,000, a 5.44% increase from 2020. Trading, farming, and manufacturing are some of the things Ikorodu is known for. Ikeja is the capital of Lagos State, formerly called Akeja. It was named after a deity of the Awori people of Ota, who originally settled there. The area was invaded for slaves until the mid-19th century. Ikeja, an abbreviation meaning of Ikorodu and Ekpe joint administration, is 330,196. Ikeja is home to one of West Africa's largest gadget markets, popularly known as Computer Village, and home to a shopping mall.
When I see people today shouting,
and so it's time for us to take over power.
Traffic signs are important indicators that direct and inform commuters and motorists of dangers ahead. The National Bureau of Statistics has shown that there are about 11.8 road traffic signs serve several purposes. Some are placed on the roads to point out directions to motorists. Some are placed to ensure the safety of motorists and pedestrians. How much of these signs are known to Nigerians?
That has lowered height is not to enter in such a place.
Road signs are typically represented as symbols or annotations. Every motorist and
nobody would know who has a right or who does not have a right. What can you do? What can you not do? Are you going to warn me about an impediment in front of me or not? So signs are critical. It's not about anyone taking advantage. It's about us utilizing it for our own safety benefit. In a city like Lagos or any large city, there are more pedestrians. Part of anything, there will be serious injury. Any new road being constructed in Lagos must have a requisite walkway. Zebra crossing, typically in Nigeria, some drivers, when you tell them like, oh, why have you not allowed the pedestrian to cross at the zebra crossing? And the driver will turn back and say, well, I can't see no zebra. You must, as a motorist, you must stop and give priority to the pedestrian to cross. That's the purpose of zebra crossings.
Inappropriate parking on the road is another disturbing habit. Where can drivers park on the road in case of necessity?
Typically speaking, when you go and apply for a driver's license, you are foremost trained to say to you that where you park is very important because it borders on safety and then you're good to go. And it's not just that. You have to also ask, can where I have chosen to park, can it be perceived by enforcement agency forcing them to change lanes? Now, forcing someone to change lanes on an express on high speed is very dangerous. More than likely, it will lead to a crash. So you can't park there. If you go to a market and you do not go into an off-street parking space or go and find a side street that is not obstructive to parking, and you now say, oh, because other people are parking there, I just want to park for 1 minute. 1 minute is more than enough for an accident to happen. 1 minute is more than enough for obstruction to other traffic flow to occur. So your 1 minute to you may be small, but for the country, for the state, for agency like ours, 1 minute at an inappropriate place is obstructive. And then that vehicle, if we have a tow vehicle, we will tow it.
What are the transportation agencies in Nigeria doing to educate citizens and motorists?
With a program like yours, it's all part of the education links that we have, that we use. Federal Road Safety Corps, LAMATA, LASMA, any agency that has anything to do with safety on the roads, with transportation, would always look for an avenue to educate the citizenry. There's a purpose for the road. Your purpose is to move from point A to B, not to abuse other road users. Don't take advantage of vulnerable road users like children and the elderly and pedestrians. Don't say because you're inside your car that you just have rights to do whatever you want.
Obey the road signs and remember not to drive under any influence.
This is Tea Time, where we dissect and analyze what's big and popping in the world of entertainment. And if not, it ain't coming out of the sleeps. I'm definitely not alone. I've got my intelligent co-anchors, Ife Omai, and introducing our guest anchor, Adewale. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm
Your
good.
son is excited. Like, yeah, let's see you do the-
I'm so excited to be on.
Oh, yay!
Yay! Yeah, I should say my name is Wale, W-A-L-A-Y, Wale.
It's not W-H-A-L-E.
No, I had to spell it for them, you know.
How about W-H-A-L-E-Y? Wale.
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 Yeah.
All right, so tell us about yourself. What have you been doing? And introduce yourself to us.
Okay, Wale is a presenter, a producer. I create content as well. A journalist, and I also direct. Yeah. So.
What else do you do aside from this media industry? What else is your strength?
I listen to music a lot.
What type of music do you listen to?
Any kinds of music.
What's your favorite album at the moment?
Album, still Pop Smoke.
Pop Smoke. What album? What album is that?
And the album 50 Cent produced for
Yeah,
him.
I know. What's the title?
I won't lie to you. I'm not really.
Oh, wow, and you love
but,
that
But I
album.
love that album because I listened to it.
Great.
Yeah,
All right. So, what's your greatest single, Nigerian single of the moment?
A single right now. I think I like Lighter.
Lighter.
Yeah.
What song?
The one he featured with Naira
What's the
Marley.
title of the song?
Sure.
Are you
I'm
sure?
Yeah.
All right, great. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Sure?
yeah.
Are you sure?
I just saw the video
it's
yesterday,
sure?
and
Are you sure?
You
Yes.
saw it
Sure.
yesterday? I saw the video yesterday.
Are you sure it's sure?
I'm sure.
That
It is
it's sure.
The title had to do with sure.
Are you sure? It's
Oh
sure.
God! But I know it's sure. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Huh?
Are you sure?
Am I? Are you asking me a question?
No.
Am I sure?
The song.
It's what?
Don't twist me. The song has to do with sure.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so that's just what I like about.
Are you sure it is sure?
I'm sure.
You are sure that it is sure?
Yeah.
Everything is okay
Alrighty.
with you this morning.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's
anyways,
it. Lighter. I love the song.
so okay, so let's talk about your entertainment background. How vast are you in entertainment?
I'm I'm still trying.
Yes,
I won't say I'll just say I'm
So
still
what's
trying.
your forte? Do you think you're the entertainment guy? Do you think you're the political guy? Or yes?
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
If I'm not in
So what's your
entertainment-
biggest? What's the biggest entertainer in Nigeria at the moment, as far as you think,
we
in
all
your
know,
opinion?
We all know it's Mr. Brunner now.
Mr. Brunner.
right.
Why? Because he won the Grammy.
And of course, because that's what is actually everywhere. Brunner
Is that what makes you the biggest artist in the continent?
In the
because you
continent.
won the Grammy.
Well, as for me, I can't think of anybody right now in Nigeria.
You don't think Davido is big enough? You don't think Davido has been putting us on the
Davido
map
is
for a
good.
long
Everybody
time?
is good, but you know, Burna Boy, we know. At least I can't.
Is that your favorite Nigerian artist?
No, it's not my favorite Nigerian artist.
Who's your
but,
favorite Nigerian artist?
I don't really have a favorite Nigerian artist.
Okay,
but,
so if you have to pick 3 artists from Nigeria, who are they?
Definitely, I'll go for Burna.
Mm.
I'll go for Two-Face. And once again, I'll go for. I think I'll go for Naira Marley.
Naira Marley. So you like Naira Marley?
I like
What's
Naira
your
Marley.
biggest Naira Marley song? Wait, now I'm getting to know my
no,
guy
no,
now.
no,
Come on,
no,
didn't
no,
I get
no,
to
no,
know you?
no.
What's your biggest Naira Marley song?
Kò lè yé wọn.
Can you sing like a few lines of Kò lè yé wọn?
Kò lè yé wọn. Kò lè yé wọn. Tó bá yé wọn. Come on. I just like the rhythm of that song, you know.
Ọmọdé dọ́gbọ́n fi sí.
Oh no.
Àgbà dọ́gbọ́n fi sí.
You know,
how
and
you
then,
know
you
go
know,
no?
people like, one thing I know about Naira Marley is that he sings from whatever is going on around. It's not all about, I have to be careful because, you know, that's why he said his song is not for, I think there was time he said his song is not for kids.
Yeah.
Because he's deep. The
What's
guy
your
is
biggest embarrassing moment?
Oh, when I was probably shooting, and I discovered that after the shoot, there was no audio, and then I had to.
Can you speak up a bit, please?
I had to find a way
Yeah.
how to communicate with the guest again. That man, it's like you will have to come around again. It was very embarrassing to me because it made me look as if when I wasn't a professional in what I was doing. That how were we going to be shooting, and at the end of the day, though it was a technical thing, but I just felt embarrassed, you know.
Alrighty, welcome to the squad. So we all have something in common now. At least we have Naira Marley in common. We have what's it called now? You know, embarrassing moments in common. So yes, welcome to the squad. Welcome Adewale. Yes, Adewale will be joining us this morning to discuss some of the biggest entertainment stories, and we have something special for you guys. Now we'll be introducing a new segment on the show that you guys never seen before. Segment, but yes, it's called the half-hour hot topic. So you need to stick around to actually see what's going on with that. But moving on, the first story of the day is a Nollywood actor, Yul Edochie, who has disagreed with his father, Pete Edochie's stance on gifting in-laws. The patriarch of the Edochie family, in a recent interview, said any father who wants to gift his married daughter a car and gives it in a name is destroying the daughter's marriage. He advised the father to buy the car in his son-in-law's name. Yul disagreed with his father's opinion. He wrote, "Of course, Chief is entitled to his opinion. And back then, their ways were different. For me, if I buy a car for my daughter as a wedding gift, I'll give it to her to register it in whatever name she likes. If she asks me to do the registration for her, then I'll register it in our name." Do you guys agree or disagree?
Okay.
Like this type of stories just give you a headache. Like,
first of all, I saw that story yesterday, and I was like, this man again. The truth of the matter is that this is like the second time Pete Edochie is actually coming through when it comes to this issue of marriage. And you know, the last one where he was talking about why would a man go on his knees to propose? That was the first one.
actually, no, that's that was the first.
Yes, that was the first one. He came with that, and you know, and now he's coming again with this.
Did you see the one that happened on, I think on Monday? That broke over the weekend, and then on Monday it was all over the place. You didn't see anything on
The one
Peter
about the
Edochie?
condoms.
About the condoms.
Okay, saying that
Women should put condoms.
Yeah. It was part of the,
It's the same
story.
video.
It's the same video, yeah.
Yes. So, to me, I just feel the man is just being. He's been an old school. And you know, sorry, I'm not trying to be tribalistic here, but you know, you see when it comes to Igbo, you know, they are very, very careful, and they are very, very particularly about their men. their tribe. You know, when it comes to a man heading the family, they don't joke with it. They don't joke with it. Especially, they always want that respect.
Right.
But let's talk about the new generation as well. Do you think that regardless of whether you're Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba, you know, we should still be all about patriarchal stuff? That because you are a man, you have to be the head, you have to be this. Don't you think that at this point in our lives, haven't you had women that you have to share things equally with, especially when it comes to power?
Well, this our generation is quite crazy. It's a very crazy generation, and things have changed. I feel old things are passed away.
And all things have become new, Pastor.
But we still have some of our daddies that still believe that their own time is still, you know, the best right now and all that. But I believe it's just Peter Joseph's opinion.
Yeah, and let's keep it at that. This is not set in stone. It's not a law.
But what do you think?
I mean, it's very ridiculous. This whole thing is very ridiculous. And I'm sorry, but it's beginning to make me even now despise the idea of his son actually being in politics. At first, I thought, you know, because if he respects his father in any way and maybe his father has influence over his life, then I worry for the kind of Nigeria he's planning on building.
But you just disagree with his own father.
Yeah, but not really. He still said, well, whatever name she wants to put it in. And I don't know, maybe he's disagreeing with this one, but then are you agreeing with a lot of other things? I don't know. It just feels like he's the kind of person that I'm like actively fighting against, especially for my country. So I'm on the opposite spectrum of who Peter Doche is and everything that he stands for, right? So I feel like there's an intellectual war going on with these kinds of people and my kind of people, right? So if his father if he's anything like his father, then it worries me that he will even come into politics. Like, I mean, right now it's just on social media with the camera. It's not harmful. But imagine this kind of person ruling. You surely start to see like policies that, you know, are trifling women and really boxing women, because you can't even imagine women owning properties. Like, you're taking us back. You're taking us back. You're trying to really eradicate all the progress that we've made. So that's really scary for me. And I wish he condemned this a bit more than just, oh yeah, whatever my daughter wants, I will put it. So if my daughter says, nah, I need the kind of person then that if your daughter said, oh, please put it in my husband's name, you'll be the one to ask her that. Are you okay? Sure about that? Like, are you okay? Why don't you want to own your own properties? So that for me is crazy. I mean, I remember when we were talking about the whole condoms thing, I said it when he sees no reason why a woman should be empowered, and that is a big turn off for me.
And you know what? It can never happen.
What can never happen?
Yeah.
Now, obviously.
Are you going to ask her?
No, I'm not going
what
to.
What option of name she should put on her thing?
No, it's not even a question that should come up.
Exactly, that's what
I'm going to give her. No, that's why I said Yul Edochie. So
you don't agree 100% then? Because he said he will ask his daughter the options of what name she wants to put it in, and if she says
to talk about them in that, but I talk about them.
His dad said he would put it that anyone who buys for his daughter and puts it in her name is trying to destroy the marriage or whatever. So put it in the husband's name. So he's not replying and saying that, oh, I don't agree to that. All I would do, the only difference is that, not that I wouldn't put it in the man's name, is that I'll ask first.
Well, that's
so
Chief's
both of
opinion.
You should clear out and go and ask
opinion.
Yeah,
his
again,
opinion. I feel, you know, Chief is actually being careful too as a man. You know, putting the name of the man in whatever, you know, and maybe he sees it that anything can happen alongside the.
Like what? What's your biggest fear for women owning cars? I'd like to know.
Maybe at the end of the day, the woman
might
decide. The woman can decide to say maybe she's no longer interested in the marriage.
Oh, and that's a problem if she has a car.
So
because she will use the car to drive out of your house, so you're worried.
So you know, the man can just, you know, okay, even if she says she wants to go, everything still belongs to me.
Oh,
okay, so what's your take on men? Now, there was a video that went viral, you know, during the Valentine period of a guy who actually went to a restaurant, saw his girlfriend sitting with another man, took his bone straight hair, took her shoes and all of that. What's your opinion about men who do such things?
First of all, that was childish. To me, I won't do that. Though, that's to show, it just shows the kind of person that guy is. Because if he really, really loves her, from his depth of his heart, or really loves his woman, okay. I mean, to me, it's even irritating.
Yeah.
That shows that the
So don't
man,
you think that when the good gets going and you give the woman anything or she has anything under your name, you shouldn't be worried about when she's leaving and she has to go with those things?
I'm sorry, what?
when the good is gets going, right? And a woman gets whatever it is from you. Do you think when it becomes bad, you're entitled to those things back?
No.
Because that's
What kind of giving are you giving
What kind
then?
of giving? It's not. It's.
Are you
asking
giving
that,
or
do
is
you-
it in a contract? Which one?
No, you guys are not getting it now. Now, I'm asking this question from the point of, when it gets bad and she wants to leave and she has to go with the car. And I'm asking that, but in that car, you gave her in good faith because everything was going smoothly. Do you understand? So when it's not going smoothly and she needs to walk away, why should we be worried about what she walks with? You're still not
but
getting
he
it.
doesn't have a problem.
I don't have a problem with
He's
that.
just, I think he was just trying to explain the idea.
Yeah, it's.
I don't think. Are you supporting? Are
I'm
you
not
saying that?
supporting it.
Okay.
Why would you collect it back? What is?
And so why shouldn't we leave it in the woman's name? That's my own question. Are you guys not getting it? That whatever gift you are giving to your daughter on her wedding day, the thought of whatever happens between her and her husband years down the line, or even months or weeks down the line, is actually none of my business. I'm actually giving it to my daughter in her name.
Again, this is the reason why I cannot say, we don't need feminism in this country. Because there's work to be done. There is a lot of work to be done. If there are men still roaming around that think like this, it is very alarming for the state, for the protection of women and their futures. If there are women who have also accepted this as their faith, because there's a lot of women that don't know any different, right? They don't have any spirit of empowerment, so they've agreed that, I'm only what the man tells me I am.
No, it
There's
can't
a lot
work.
of work. There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
This our time, it can't work. But do you know, sorry, do you know that also women do that too? They buy you things and all that, and when you say you're no longer interested, some of them ask for what they get.
So those are two different conversations, right? The idea of gifting someone, your lover, I don't think that's a gender conversation. I think it's a personality thing. If you're petty, you might want your gifts back. If you're not, nobody cares, and we end, you move on with all the stuff that you've benefited from me, and I do the same. But now we're talking about the conversation of even allowing ownership for women, because that's what he's talking about. And you see, that's much deeper than feelings and all of that. That's like entering economics now, right? Because that's the only way you elevate yourself from poverty.
Alrighty.
So, yeah, different conversation.
Alrighty, so we need to move on to the next story. Like I told you guys, yes, we'll be having a brand new segment on the show. So the next story is an American singer, Demi Lovato, who has revealed that she was sexually assaulted by a drug dealer on the night she overdosed. She will be recalled that 3 years ago, of course, Demi Lovato, overdosed on drugs, and the whole world was worried about her and all of that. And in the docu-series on YouTube, she told us about the drug dealer who delivered her a dangerous cocktail. So Dancing with the Devil is the name of the series. And yes, who delivered her a dangerous cocktail of heroin and other drugs on the night she overdosed 3 years ago. When she woke up in the hospital after the incident, the doctor asked her if she had consensual sex. She said, "I remembered him lying on top of me, so I said yes." It wasn't until maybe a month after my overdose that I realized, hey, you weren't in any state of mind to make it a consensual decision. That kind of trauma doesn't go away overnight. What's your take on this one?
That definitely happens. And which is why the conversation around consent needs to be had a lot more. It's not as simple as she said yes, he said no. And some people, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Some people don't genuinely understand that fully well, right? So some people would say, I heard yes, and so it's okay. And I'm not saying that that's an evil thing, but it's wrong. And I think with time, we need to educate people more. That it's not as simple as saying yes. You have to make sure that this person is of the sound mind. The person is, for example, the person is an adult. A young child can say yes, but you can't sleep with a young child because she doesn't have the audacity or the she's not capable of giving a full yes because she's underage. Yeah. So there has to be a lot more conversations around consent and how deep it is. And I think this particular one is very common where you see in Nigeria. I remember Christmas, I kept tweeting and saying, please guys, let's have more conversations around consent this December period, because there's going to be house parties. And that's why you find a lot of rape cases coming out of in Nigeria, especially on Twitter space, is that, she can say yes, but is she intoxicated? Is she drunk? If she is, I don't think you should be having sex with somebody who isn't in their sound mind.
Their right senses.
Yes, because you can say a lot of things. If you ask me when I'm drunk if I want to jump naked around on Third Mainland Bridge, I probably would say yes. But that doesn't mean that I'm saying that with like my full consciousness. So the same applies to what's it called? Drugs as well.
Yeah.
So with this guy now, I don't know, because he sells drugs, I have a bias already to him. I'm sorry. So
Maybe even sold the wrong drugs. So
exactly. So I know that I'm leaning towards the idea that he knew this woman was intoxicated and deliberately did what he did. Yes, absolutely. Because there are some men that don't know that you're drunk. There are some men that don't know that you're intoxicated. I've seen that before.
Drunk all the time for them not to know you're
No, like I have a friend where I don't know what drug she was on. It was in Australia, and she went to a house party. Now she was a bit like, woo, like jumpy, but nothing too like it wasn't like she was throwing up or anything like that. And we were trying to figure out the whole time if she had sex with the person that she was hanging around with, right? So that kind of person now, the man doesn't know that she wasn't of sound mind. Or maybe sometimes you yourself, you're too much out of your own mind that you don't know. Like, it's very complicated, but it's definitely rape. I've seen people argue on Twitter about this conversation, whether or not if she was raped. That's not rape now. It actually is. It is rape. If I didn't give you my consent willingly, then even if you force me, if I'm sober and you force me and I'm like, no, let's do it, and I say, like, you're not really giving me a choice, it's still not consensual sex as well. So the conversation gets deep.
Okay. For me, what I feel, first of all, it's a sad one for her. But secondly, this drug dealer or drug thing, is it really a must? One must have a drug dealer. It's really a must, because I believe one thing about this stage is that we know that. Look at Michael Jackson, for example. At the end of the day, what we heard or what we learned was that it was the doctor or whoever was probably treating him or was probably the one that gave him the overdose thing. So, but I believe when we have a doctor and you have your own doctor, why will you need a drug dealer again?
I don't get that.
Like somebody who is probably giving you your medication to use, because I guess that's the person.
Wait, what type of drugs do you think we're talking about here? Paracetamol?
No. No.
Okay, so Demi Lovato, her documentary is actually about her life. They
even mentioned the heroin.
She's a
Your
child
doctor would
star.
not give you heroin.
She's a child star, and she's had a very hard time growing up. Like, in front of us, she's had like a lot of overdoses where we've almost lost her and stuff. So this documentary is supposed to give an insight on her struggles and like a very raw, honest truth about her life. So she's actually she was a drug addict. She was somebody that had serious drug issues, and I'm not talking painkillers for a headache. I mean, like, intoxicating drug issues. Yeah. So this is in her encounter with drugs and her drug dealers, all these bad stuff. She was then raped. Yeah.
All right. So what's your take on drug addicts as well? Let's talk about that. How do you feel about drug addicts?
Well, it's not a good thing. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a good thing. But it's not, as I said, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. But I feel it can be reduced.
Okay. How do you think that can be done?
Through your therapist, right?
Okay. So, I mean, like, when I'm asking you about your take on drug dealers, what's your take on them? Do you think they are the problems?
What do you mean?
Yes,
they are the problem.
The drug dealers themselves. Yes, they are the problem.
No, not the drug dealers, the drug addicts.
Oh, well, as I said, it's to me, I don't really have much to say on that. But
But you know that addiction is a disease, and we should empathize and sympathize with every addict because it's beyond their control. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that. I know it's a disease. I know.
Yes.
But what's okay? Okay, go ahead.
No, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something. You say it's a disease, yes, but isn't that are they born with it? Do you think they are born with it?
They're not born. Were you born with cancer? Were people born with cancer? They got cancer. And we empathize and sympathize with every cancer patient. So why are we not going to sympathize and empathize with every drug addict if it is categorized as a disease? But we need to move on real quick, and we're going on a music break, and this is our throwback music from way back. This is still Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Yes, of course, stay with us.
bloody. Doro get the biggest label where you know, of course. Doro push past anybody where Doro meet. Doro got a pass anybody for the gathering. Doro get money pass everybody. Yeah, Doro, Doro Bucci. Doro, Doro Bucci. Doro, Doro, Doro Bucci, mama. Doro, Doro Bucci, boy, yeah, Doro fresh. Doro big. Doro flashy. Doro classy. Doro fine pass anybody where Doro see. Doro get pass anybody where Doro meet.
Doro na diva, Doro na tiwa, Doro na leader. Follow the leader. Doro, 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 Doro. Doro is bigger. Doro is higher. Follow the ladder. So follow the ladder. Doro get liver, she know the tire. Doro hot.
We don't they pass before. Doro sweet pass anybody where Doro jam man. Doro hammer. Doro bako. Doro knock pass carpenter where don't they knock before. Doro nado. Doro Messi. Doro dribble anybody where try to mark.
Doro, African prince, Doro. See Doro, they make you all the girls they feel Doro, Doro, Doro catchy anybody where Doro fish, Doro, Doro choppy anybody where Doro beef, Doro, Doro mega, Doro super, Doro star, Doro mega superstar, Doro catchy anybody where Doro fish, Doro, Doro choppy anybody where Doro beef, Doro.
Doro bad. Doro 007. Doro, Doro Nayaro. Doro, they get the money. Doro, Doro like for do anything where Doro like for do. Make nobody try Doro. Doro bougie, Doro bad. Doro 007. Doro, Doro Nayaro. Doro, they get the money. Doro, Doro like for do anything where Doro like for do. Doro, make nobody try Doro. Doro
Careful giver. Doro is a kind of boss, a kind of boss. Doro is a money spender. Doro today floss, today floss. Anyway, we Doro day, no say wahala day, colors day, Doro gallant day. Anyway, we Doro day, wahala day, colors day, Doro gallant day. Doro money, Doro bola, Doro popping, Doro naughty, Doro fly past anybody where they play, Doro ball past anybody where they beat. Doro Bucci, Doro Bucci, Doro fly past anybody where Doro see, Doro get past anybody where they
Hey, Doro Bucci. Yes, that's a proper throwback. Yes, you're still welcome back to Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. You know, yeah, we've been, having some those bars here and there. Yes, talking about drugs, talking about all the things, and talking about Chief, of course, who, had his opinion. And yes, we had, we've been able to educate each one of us on this table. I think we've been able to impact on each other, intellectually. Or am I wrong?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So we're moving on to the final story before we go into a brand new segment, which is, hot topic on Tea Time, of course. Yeah, so Kanye West's current net worth is approximately $6.6 billion, which largely came from his Yeezy fashion brand. The rapper's sneaker and apparel business, now bolstered by Adidas and Gap Inc., is valued between $3.2 billion and $4.7 billion by UBS Group AG. According to a media outlet, the father of four has an additional $1.7 billion in assets, $122 million in cash and stock, and $110 million from his music career. He has now been reported to be the richest black man in American history. Give it up for Kanye, man. Like, give it up for... See, This is, I don't want to say this. I'll probably say this behind the scene. But you know, they say this guy has a problem. I want his problems. Don't you understand? I probably can't say what problem
this
is.
is
I want his problems.
So that problem
guys.
is what is make that.
Thank you.
That's what brought him to where he is today.
Absolutely.
Can we now have? Because why don't you want this
Please, I don't
problem?
want problem like that.
Hey.
Like, you know, when I saw this, I thought about Kanye when I was much younger. Like when Kanye was not this Kanye, like from like Jesus Walks Kanye, like, and I'm just thinking, would he have known
that he would be
that he would have been the richest man in the history
of America?
Of America? Are you kidding?
Like that's a lot.
At first, I thought he was the richest black artist in America, but the richest man. Number one.
Yes. Like Oprah.
But can I
Like
say
Oprah.
though? Can I say? And I have to say this. And I know you might. I don't know how you respond to this. But do you know that Kim Kardashian has a whole lot to do with that?
I disagree.
I disagree.
If to say a man with
I
success get
disagree.
a lot to do with woman's success, you will not agree.
I disagree.
You will not agree.
Please.
Why you bringing Kim Kardashian? Why can't we just be happy for this
In
man?
fact,
Why are we talking about Kim Kardashian
I
now?
don't hate her. I don't hate
I don't get
Kardashian.
it.
I don't
Like,
hate
why
her.
did you have to bring that? Wait, leave this table. Stand up and walk
Can I
away.
explain why?
Okay.
They had a when they first got married. There was this thing where they did like a joint fusing, whatever. That's what made him even the richest man above Jay-Z. That time, you know, both of them were struggling for a while. She brought all her assets that she had, which is also a very strong millionaire as well. And when they conjoined their assets together, they both became really powerful. And that's how they were able to get to number one. So for me,
So she's
Let me tell you-
on an
let me
offshore.
tell you-
Sorry, on an offshore. So Kanye is using her grace. Is that what you say?
no.
Wait,
relax.
no, that's not what it is. But let me
What
just-
I said Kim Kardashian is a big contributor to this aspect in terms of their collaboration. That's all I've said.
So now let me tell you what you would have said and how you would have said it if I had said the same thing if it was Kim Kardashian that was declared the way and I said Kanye. You're like, no, so what do you mean?
But you know
so,
that's actually like, I know you're going to say that. Because
So
let me
what
tell
you
you.
mean? So are you saying because a woman is smart enough to bring her assets together with a man and she's not the richest woman, so we think that is a problem? We don't want this woman to
I
be
actually
woke.
knew-
We don't want this woman to be smart. We don't want this woman to be empowered. So because she was smart enough, other women should be smart enough
I
to do
actually
that.
knew
You know, that
you
was,
were,
that's
I knew,
exactly
no, I
what
knew,
you would have
I
said.
knew you were exactly going to, I knew you were going to say that. And I researched the thing for you. So if you want to go and quote me wrong, I was ready for you.
It's not about.
I
I'm saying,
remember
why
when,
are
let
you
me
bringing
finish,
that
let
up
me
now?
finish, let me finish. When we talked about Kim Kardashian, because she was on a list, and what's it called? Kylie as well. I said, you guys said the same thing. I was going on and on and on about how
She's not self-made.
No, yes, exactly. I was going on about how those girls were not self-made, especially Kylie Kardashian,
30 seconds to wrap
Kylie
up.
Jenner rather.
Yeah.
And I was saying how like Kylie's not self-made, And I remember you brought up, no, maybe it was Elsie that brought it up. Elsie brought it up, and I said, well, I cannot argue with that. So I actually did not do what you're saying. I agreed that there was a contributing factor to that. Do you think that you can be the richest man without having any help or support? Are you people using your head on the table?
Okay, to say something. Just
okay.
Kanye West has actually been a unique person right from time. The guy is
Nobody's
good.
taking it away. All I said was that there's a contributing factor to that. If you don't even
The guy is unique.
It's not just Kim Kardashian as well. There
okay.
are other people that made a huge part of his success.
Adidas.
He's exactly Adidas is a huge one. They backed up this guy's product, used
They
their
gave him
platform,
loans.
gave him serious
Yeah.
loans. So don't act like as if I've said too much. Well, that's it.
That one day, but Kim Kardashian would
No,
be.
that Kim Kardashian.
Anyway, Tea Time continues right after this break. And yes, our topic on Tea Time will be here, brand new. Go nowhere, stay.
Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. The progress of women is progress for all of us.
The World Trade Organization has appointed a former Nigerian finance minister as the new head of the organization.
I'm very proud to be the first African. I'm proud to be the first woman.
My guest tonight is a critically acclaimed author from Nigeria whose most recent bestseller. Please welcome Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Giving priority to women is not an option, it is a necessity. So go, girl. Tell that story that has not been told before. Step into that spotlight and shine. Get up, get going. The world is waiting to be wowed by your very existence. Because when you go where no woman has been, you have no idea just how many will follow.
There has to be a decision point. The way your baby is presenting, we have to rush you. Of you? Yes,
Yeah,
but
we
without
have
showing my
that
private parts.
conversation.
I want
Yeah,
to put it in my front room. And they said, you can't do that. People will be embarrassed when they came into your house. I said, well, it's my body and it's my front room.
All the things that we do, what is the purpose of it? I just realized that I was more trusting before I was sick.
This is still Tea Time on Plus TV Africa, and of course we're still having, the amazing time, as we always do. But now introducing a half-hour Her Topic on Tea Time, and of course we came with friends. Yay! I got a friend.
You keep thinking you know how to sing, but you don't.
I don't need to know how to sing, but you know the song, so you can just sing along and not hate on a brother.
I don't know, it's in my blood, sorry.
To hate on me.
Yes,
Well, thank God you said that on live television.
Of course,
But I
that's
think,
something
but I
I've said
think he
before.
can sing.
I can sing. I tell you
me
that, guys.
too.
I have music
So you
video.
cannot work with
No.
See, maybe we should go and increase my views. I have a music video at Mr. Fire Road. Yes, increase my view. I'm sure Maka can relate. And of course, we came with friends, like I said. My friend is a soul singer of international repute and a real one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, meet my friend, Maka. How you doing, Maka?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. And our other friend, of course, from the On My Corner, is a corporate executive who made our time to, be with us out of a busy schedule of dealing with money. And yes, it is the beautiful Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Yeah, and
Hello,
of course, we
Nancy.
got Wale
Thank you.
with us. Yeah, so for those of you wondering, is he a guest? Yes, it's just a guest anchor with us today. And yes, probably you see more of Wale. Yes, so let's get straight to it. The topic for the day is, do you think challenges improves a person's character? If possible, let's discuss this with personal experiences. So we're going to be starting with Nancy. Nancy, tell us, do you think so?
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Nancy looks frozen. Maka, are you with us?
Yeah.
All right, so Maka, let's start with you. I think Nancy is frozen. Too much money.
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
frozen
so,
our accounts.
I'm telling you.
I'm obviously of the opinion that your challenges help make who you are. So they can make you or they can destroy you. Either way, they contribute to who you become. And I've had experiences. Being a musician, number one, definitely comes with its own, with all its issues and all the roadblocks anybody can imagine. So that automatically has contributed to who I am today. It's not easy to say, oh, I'm going to leave my steady income and paying job as a lawyer and follow my passion.
True that.
Become a starving artist. It's not easy at all. But I had different options. I could have quit. You get when it felt like oh, it seems like my dreams are never going to become a reality. I could have said, you know what, I'm not doing this thing anymore. But I decided to persevere, and I'm still persevering. It has made me a strong person. Like there's rarely anything now that will come my way that I won't be able to handle because of all the things I've learned on this journey. You feel me?
Yes, true that, and I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the space that you've been able to fill. It's not very common to see people obviously leave a very secure, like the 9 to 5, everybody knows 9 to 5. Even myself, I know 9 to 5 is not a great option, but one of the best advantages of a 9 to 5 is that
You're
security.
yeah.
So for me to meet people like that deliberately walk out of a secure space
payment
into a non-secure space is very inspiring, especially now when you're not going into the entertainment industry and you being a singer. I've been obviously privileged to interview you, so I know that you're an amazing person, but I want to know if there's any story in particular that, like, on top of your mind you experienced, as in give us a backstory, like the guy, you can call him Mr. A or whatever, but I want to know like a particular story that has really, it's made a mark. Yeah.
There are too many to just.
Which one is your favorite?
If I had known that I was gonna. If I had known that I was going to share,
we can give you time to think about it so that we
Yes.
move to Nancy so she can tell us. We can give you time to think about it so that we move to Nancy and she can share our own thoughts. Then you
Right.
come back with a story,
Absolutely.
right? All right. So Nancy, what do you think? Do you think challenges help, shape the person you become?
Definitely. So for two instances, I think when it comes to finances and relationships, there are situations, if you don't struggle, if you don't have challenges in making money, you would never appreciate the value of money.
Thank you.
You never appreciate spending and savings. If you don't have challenges in building your relationships with people, because you need people in life, as hard as people like to take that fact out. If God wants to bless you, manna won't fall from heaven. He would bring someone to you to help you. So if you have challenges building your relationships, in the next relationship, your character would be corrected and you will act better
100.
in your next relationship.
Right.
Yes. So I've had personal experiences with money too and finances. I mean, I used to be, I don't want to say Miss Independent, because I used to believe, whenever I have an issue, I just focus on finding a solution and working it out immediately. But then I've been around people where they have issues and I've had to sympathize with them. So the old Nancy would be like, get your ass up and get this done, get moving. But now, knowing that not everybody's like me, so I have to sympathize with their situation. I have to maybe give them words of advice and words of wisdom. They might not be the type to act immediately, but the new Nancy now would try to give advice and try to stay with the person and be like, you know what, things are going to get better. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel sad, but don't stay at this point.
True.
Get up and re-strategize and move forward.
True that.
So yeah, the old Nancy might be a bit tough love.
So do you?
But then,
Nancy, do you find it easier now for yourself to even ask for help? Because I mean, I know that I know what it is like to be like Miss Independent and not. If anything, it starts to even not that you don't want to ask for help, but you don't want to feel like a burden, or that you're just capable and able of doing it by yourself. So you do the hard route and make it out yourself. But now, obviously, it seems like you've experienced enough to have your mind change. So is it easier for you now to like? Oh my gosh!
Right here.
Did
Can
you
hear
even?
us?
Yeah. Were you there?
Hello.
Where did you stop?
She frozen again.
Yes, I can hear you. It's just a little break in network. But yes, I got your question.
Right.
In the past, I used to have a big problem with the answer no. So I hate when I ask and people tell. Sometimes I don't even want to ask because I'm scared of people telling me no. But the truth is, if you ask, you might just get a yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in most cases, you would just get a yes. So the way I see it is better you ask than not. So yes, I've put myself in a situation, even at work, when I don't understand some things, or even with family and friends, it's always a best decision to ask because you might just get what you're asking for.
Absolutely.
So yes, I've been able to ask more than not.
Alrighty.
So I think I'm next,
Yes.
right?
Or if this.
Unless there's something, Maka, yes, are you going to share your story with us?
I agree with everything that Nancy said.
Do you have a story to share with us now?
She made a lot of valid points, and I know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we had this conversation, you were looking for some controversial vibes. Like you wanted this to be very, very, very controversial, and you get. But this topic, to me, it is straightforward.
Yeah.
It is very straightforward.
But guess what?
Challenges build up character. Not for everybody, but some people will choose to give up. It's left to you to decide how you want it to affect you. But challenges definitely build up character. In my line of work, I've met so many people. I've worked with so many people. I've been privileged to run my own band, and I'm the only female there. And most of the time I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest in the room.
Right.
But I have to manage these guys. It's not easy, but
do you guys think that there are some? I mean, I think we're all on the same consensus. We're all nodding our heads.
Empathy.
But there's a but.
Yeah.
Do you think that there are challenges that you face that just break you? Like there's nothing to you can't grow or you know,
can't get out of
you
it.
can't. Yeah, there's just some things that
Like
people
this
would
one is
face,
just, yeah.
and then that's it. You're broken, done.
In the
dusted.
moment, it will seem like that. Every time in the moment, in that real time, it will seem like that. But there is nothing on earth that should have that much power because everything will pass. To be honest, in that time, you will feel this.
Like you.
I can't go on.
Yeah.
But when you move on and you reflect on it, to be like, I actually came out stronger.
Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty. So
It's
for
just
me,
like sometimes when you have to work out, and after like the first few days of working out, you feel like, you know what, I'm not doing this. My body can't take it.
pain.
But when you push through, you have that summer body in the end, and you're so grateful that, oh wow, I'm glad I continued. You get so yes.
Yeah.
All right, but
When I had my first heartbreak, hi Chimo, it was, I felt like I was done. I felt like I was done. But see me now, I'm balling. Shout out to my ex.
Hey, shout out to the ex, yo. All right, but on the real though, I've seen, you know, kids that they have no challenge. Personally, I went to a private university, Babcock. I saw guys that went from private primary school to private secondary school to private universities to their first cars being given to them, to their first millions of naira being wired into their account to start whatever business of their choice, to their first, so even the father still investing and buying shares in the company and doing adverts in the company, and they've had life so easy. And if you see these guys, they're still the ones that you see and they'll be your motivational speakers and you listen. Do you understand? Now, I think that, you know, when you're talking about character, it is something that is inbuilt. Like they say, a leopard never changes a spot. So regardless of the circumstance, I feel like some people still fall back into their old person, regardless of what they have experienced in life. I have seen it not once, not
so you're
twice.
saying that a challenge does not always
Be what makes your character. Sometimes the type of environment you have grown up in, the type of people you mingle with actually shapes your character. Now, that is not a challenge. Do you understand? The fact that I have rich parents that help me with everything is that I want that type of challenge.
Being rich is not easy. My
parents, see, the parents are the rich. No, you're not getting it.
We're talking about Kanye West. He said, you want Kanye West problems. Be careful what you wish for,
my guy. Please, can I be the richest black man in Nigeria with problems?
Be careful what
my
you
guy,
wish for.
I want
because
that problem.
That comes with his own problem.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. All right, that one did.
More money, more problems, innit? That's what they say. More money, more problems.
I like the fact that we're even bringing lyrics into this because this just took me back to some 50 Cent line that said, joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Yes.
If it wasn't for
the
pain,
sun wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for rain. Do you understand? So there are things that you actually have to go to be able to appreciate other things. I totally agree, but I don't also agree that it is everybody that has to go through a painful challenge to be molded.
I said that before now, that you choose the way you want it to affect you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in your hands to move something or to just die there.
Alrighty.
And some things are not just necessarily materialistic.
Absolutely.
Everybody could, some people could have all the money in the world,
And
but
they
they have
have
some
health
personal
issues.
demons they're fighting.
Exactly.
I don't,
if you you do a private jet every weekend, do you sleep well at night?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
You get so people have personal battles they're fighting. And that's still a challenge.
I don't think
so
there's
if you're able
anyone.
to push through, then kudos to you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is free of challenges. I don't think so.
Yeah,
even with all the money in
Yeah.
the world, I think challenges just
Even
look,
the baby,
look different for
even
different
babies
people.
have their challenges,
Absolutely.
and babies are supposed to be the
I mean,
most
even the fact that
innocent.
teeth grows
You
out of
get?
your mouth is a challenge
It's very much
because
right.
it hurts. So, I don't think money can secure you from not experiencing or being exposed to challenges. I just think some challenges are a bit
more
different.
extreme than the
yeah,
other.
more extreme than the other. And depending on the character is how that challenge will then impact your life. Like some
Right.
people have been through big things and they just walked right through it, really myopic
Yeah,
and flat,
like
and nothing fantastic
unscathed.
happened to them.
Yeah.
And then some people experience one thing, just one thing, one little thing, and then they build their whole persona and create a whole empire based on what they've experienced from that one thing. So
Alrighty.
really
But
differs.
we haven't gotten
Yeah.
Adewale's
Sure.
experience.
First of all, challenges is a must. if you don't go through challenges in life, you will not be where you are today.
True.
Even our fathers that are today, that probably our fathers, the rich ones, yes, I'm sure they will have gone through one challenge or the other. Because
Trying
if
to
they
get
are,
rich.
yes, and we the children are the ones probably enjoying it right now. But there's no how, even we as the children, we must go through one challenge or the other. And that is actually what makes
academic
that is exactly
you could be
what
in the best
makes,
schools and you are
that's
a
exactly
dumb
what
person.
makes us what we are today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, I was discussing with my brother here. With my brother, I was like, even waking up early in the morning is a challenge. Yeah.
Big challenge.
Yes.
Big ass challenge.
Big one.
Very big challenge. So if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Sleep gang in the building. We love sleep.
So it's just all about you just training yourself and keep pushing, as you said. You know. So
There's too many factors in life that you can't control. So if you can't control every factor about life, then you're always going to find a challenge, right? Because even if you say you have all the money to like get all the robots to give you everything that you need on time, you don't know how your body is going to respond to a cold weather, for example, or that you are inbuilt allergic to dust, or that you can't see well. Like there's going to be something that is just off.
Wait, I don't mean to go spiritual now or religious.
Do you know that
I
actually have some verses in the Bible that
Thank you, my guy. See, we're thinking alike. That's why I brought my friend, my co-pastor, assistant pastor in the building.
That challenges improve your character.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at my Bible now. So this is James chapter 1, verse 2 to 4. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing.
Okay, but can I ask something though? I mean, we're all agreeing sort of to the consensus that challenge is good for you and that it builds, and I think that's just a testimony of our characters. But now, do you think though that there are some challenges that are unfair?
Yes.
Where you hear someone's story and you just think, wow, that is very unfair. And the person doesn't make it through. And the person, I don't want to say gives up, but the challenge wins over that person's battle. Do you think that there's ever a case or ever a challenge that you could go through that beats you and it's not your fault, really?
Do you know,
that's the question.
If that person came to speak to me, the fact that the person is alive means the person is surviving. Because people have taken their lives because they couldn't take it anymore.
That's true.
So the fact that that person is still there to even tell me, oh, okay, this is what I'm going through, that person is brave enough. And I'll let that person know that you're already winning. The fact that you're still here, this is just real time. You're going to get through this and look back and tell this story and it will end in a different way.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, definitely life is unfair, first of all. And some people are put in situations, some people are born into these situations, in fact. So let's say a young girl is in a ghetto area and she gets raped and she has to have the baby. That happens to her.
Already,
it's not fair, but
things,
definitely there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's always better to push through than keep yourself in that dark place. So definitely some situations are not fair, but what can you do? It's
Can I ask
life,
a question?
really.
Sure, Maka.
Okay. So the topic says, do you think that challenges improve a person's character? Okay, so now character, when we hear, oh, this person has character, our mind always goes to it's positive, yeah? But can we assume improve a person's character can also mean a bad character? Like now, if you're in a gang, they're gonna tase you. They're gonna haze you, train you to improve your character. You get
from that to that guy
to be able to go through the gang related things. Like if you're in prison now, to survive there, you have to go through all the prison challenges. to build
So
that
when you
strong
come out, you're a
character
bad
to
guy.
survive in prison. I'm
Absolutely.
just throwing in a little curveball.
That one did.
That one is
Controversial. That one really did.
Yeah.
So character, it differs. So I don't know. So do we want to share about when an experience has actually trained each and every one of us to be, stronger?
Okay, so I think for mine, because I can admit that I've been a bit sheltered, like my upbringing and all of that. But relationships, like Nancy mentioned in the very beginning, mentioned how like that's a huge factor. And I think there was a relationship that I experienced, and I didn't know until that relationship that I had a codependent character where I would really infuse my life into that person, and I can't really do much, or I didn't know consciously, but the limitations, I was limiting myself based on that relationship. So if the man is not okay with it, I wouldn't do it. And some way I told myself that I can't really do it if my man and I are not doing it together, that kind of life. And I think I've always done that until that relationship. And he was the first person to disappoint me, if anything, exploits me on a large scale. So that experience for me showed that I have to become really comfortable with myself as an individual. I mean, sometimes you don't always think that, but yeah, that has made me even a lot more confident. So I think that's a challenge.
Alrighty,
I'll
guys.
say,
I really wish I could take everyone's experience of what made you stronger or what made you the better guy, but we sadly have to go. So yes, I'm sorry. But
it was fun.
It was so much fun. We're gonna do this again.
Yes,
We're going to
was.
bring our friends once again, and yes, of course.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So thank you everyone for watching. Join the conversation on social media with the hashtag #TeaTime or Twitter us at Plus TV Africa. Remember, you can catch up on our previous episodes, including this one, and all our exclusive content by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. You can also watch TeaTime on Alta TV and in London on Ben Television. A big thank you goes out to my guests, Maka and Nancy, and of course my co-anchors Ife Omai and Adewale, and the entire production team of course. Thank you for watching Plus TV Africa's Tea Time. My name is Ife Oshunkeye.
What is a democracy? It's a government of all of us for all of us. So when we try to paint that picture, like you mentioned in your advocacy, they call you a hater.
The police remains brutal. They continue to do the same thing they were doing before that time. So can we just get more participatory in the process, including this generation?
Where is the hope? What's going to change? How is it going to change?
The lesson is that we need each other. And so this idea of we are better off than these other people, we should drop it.
Unfortunately, we live in a country of compromise that clearly, actually militantly, says we don't want the best. Just give us the one that is okay.
We have seen that the street did not deliver much dividend. It didn't. As a matter of fact, the people in power cowered them into submission. Let's get more involved.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, have you?
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let everybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
أنا ما يلي رأي إن خير إسحاق يلي رأي بلتين إسحاق دراسان وحضور أكيد على دير هي حضور أها نتاك كوري muddo badan aan tahay roogi iskoolaha ku dhakaday beritan haddii aan warbixin kooban siin ku sii degmada xudur waxyaabo ma jare iyo caanka ata nebida caanka ata taasoo oo soo jireen macnaha muddo badan iyo hahayti dad oo ammaanada ka faylo waaye beerajo beeraley waaye dadka beeraley boqolkiiba boqol beeraley lan hoolan qabnee beer qab wal argeen laakiin lan beeran qabna sidiisba ma jira beera ka noolin بلتين ما عنك إيا قالة حولها مدل إيرها قالة عنك إي قالة إيد مين في شرط أنك هرمر سنير لين كتاقذي إرنكا هكيغ لو ذا أنك ير ما يكالي لكتاقذي شنير لكتاقذي ودن كان مالبك يسين باركتين وكونفورتن إيا وغويق ميلويل بلوكو استعماله ولوفياو أركتين ودن كان الله كساره waddankan isgaaraasan xudur isgaaraasan burburkii dhibaatooyin badan la kulmi khaasatan dadka oo dhibaatooyin kula kulmiya kumadhaay anna dawladda intii aan burburneeba dagaalada sokaynay bilowday daduna min sheegdo Soomaali oo oraad weligaanayn dhamarna dad soo deginyi daris ana hasta korni ilma adeer dad iyo in oo una markii hore Soomaali la haysanay walaalhayni macnaha isquracdaan isla qadayani ehelsho madihana weerareeron qabiilhanin weerareen maalintaas ay ka dhabadanayd oo beledkii ana ka dhaladay ku roori la oo duqdi agaglagay la balagaysadii alaabtay la qaaday gurigay la gubi waxyaabahaas tan ay ka yaab badanaay macnaha dhibaatadii ninka humaytayna taas haytay xilligaasana martay walla ama ban lahayna haroogni marka mucjizooyinkaas isku jaran mo rabbaani kullina hadee may ka cabaraan dunuub oo hor an galni madaas baadantii dhibka ninka dhinu ku hor una galni leeyna loo gooyay macnaha xaaladda xudur hadda eedaan faylata waqtigii hadda waqtiyaan saniyaan dhow waqti ninku faylaba ma jira waddankan dayuuro ma koo jirna dayuurad oo dawladda lata amase hay-adda lata marmar koo jireen dayuurad bareefad ee la helay dayuuriha ka adeegdo hayno ilaa hadda intii oo hakanagdan qof oo dhab laka deersay mase laka dili ma jara oo macnaha amaan humu ku dhiidi male marka alxamdulillah xilligan eedaan faylay walba problema ma jiraan eedaan faylay xilligan
Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. The progress of women is progress for all of us.
The World Trade Organization has appointed a former Nigerian finance minister as the new head of the organization.
I'm very proud to be the first African. I'm proud to be the first woman.
My guest tonight is a critically acclaimed author from Nigeria whose most recent bestseller. Please welcome Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Giving priority to women is not an option, it is a necessity. So go, girl. Tell that story that has not been told before. Step into that spotlight and shine. Get up, get going. The world is waiting to be wowed by your very existence. Because when you go where no woman has been, you have no idea just how many will follow.
I think the Lost Boys was crafted, I think, somewhere in Russia, if I recall it well, in history. Okay, and we had the same similarities, where almost more than 90% of the population that went to Panyundo were all boys, and they had one thing in common: running away from the danger. As the war began in 1983, and that war reaches almost the community in all South Sudan. And in 1987, I became one of the Lost Boys that was displaced by the war. When it reached, we were about 1,000 Lost Boys that left from the area. We had a track until we reached Ethiopia in 1987. It was actually one of the first painful experience that I had because as a young boy, could be between 9 and 12 years old, because not knowing my exact age, we had a lot of problems on the way, and one of the problems was starvation, as you can imagine. Water was a big, and wild animals on the way. We left again in '92 until we reached a place called Nairus, which is very near to Kapoita. We stayed for a few months. Then UNHCR took us to Kakuma, and that's where I was registered as a refugee in Kakuma in 1992. There was a refugee settlement that was meant only for Lost Boys, and that started in 1998. And I had my toughest decision that I had to make, because at that time it was about 10 years or 11 years not knowing where my relatives are, and I was thinking, do I have to take a decision to go to America where I don't know how our people, maybe are they all dead or what had happened? So I decided to go to America. And in 2001, on April 8th, I left Kakuma. Then I reached in Atlanta, Georgia, April 10th, 2001. And that decision was really a best decision that I have made, because I've been writing a lot of RCM, the Red Cross messages, to my relatives, and there's no reply. From, I think I started in '94 until 2001. I couldn't get any reply at all. And I was thinking, maybe there's nobody that's alive. And therefore I decided, okay, I have to go to America. The life is different, food's different, And I remember when I was with my American friends, you know, they have different fruits. And also it was tough even for us to get enrolled into universities and colleges. When I hand $1, I have to find out my parents. And I happened to talk with my brother for the first time in 2004. I was relieved. I was totally relieved. And I could know who is dead, I could know who is alive, I could know, you know, and I was relieved then. So after independence of South Sudan in 2011, I decided, I thought, you know, we have a country that we can all build together. And then I came here. Then when the war, the crisis started in December 15, 2013, I had to be evacuated. And I remember they were telling me to go to Nairobi. I said, no, I'm not going to Nairobi. I will go to Ganyel. I think I was unemployed for about 7 months, 8 months. Then I finally get a job with ICRC in June of last year. We are doing a medical evacuation today, leaving Ganyel to Nyal, which is north of here, about 25 minutes or 30 minutes flight. So unfortunately, some cattle raiders came and attacked a village and took cattle, about 110 cattle, head of cattle, according to the local source. They have killed 2 people and wounded 4. Now we are going to evacuate a woman and a 3-year-old girl from Nyal because there is no good medical facility in Nyal, so we are evacuating them to Ganyel for a better treatment, operations, and then we'll also bring a caretaker together with that child. It's not me alone that decided to come back home. We had a lot of us that came back home that are even working either with the government or with the NGOs, or that are doing their private work as well. Unfortunately, we were all hoping to come home and build a home together. But some of us, most of us that did came, went back to America. And I'm one of the few that decided to stay because I was thinking it's not the right time for me to leave, because when your people are in danger, why would you have to go back? I'm always hopeful and optimistic that things will be better because this is the country that we all loved. This is our land, and we lost boys that have seen it all. And we want to have a better future. We have our country have a better future. And this is the hope that we are always praying for, so that this country can be better for all of us.
There has to be a decision point. The way your baby's presenting, we have to rush you in. And my partner at the time was like, "You going to Qatar? Are you going to Qatar? Is it going to leave a scar?" And I said, "Am I a belly dancer? What is the problem here?"
No, I'm vulnerable about the future of the children, the future of mine and the future of the generation of my children.
I want to have nude pictures taken. Of you? Yes,
Yeah,
but
we
without
had that
showing my private parts. I want to put it in my front room. And they said, "You can't do that. People will be embarrassed when they came into your house." I said, "Well, it's my body and it's my front room."
All the things that we do, what is the purpose of it? I just realized
that I was more trusting before I was 6.
So many women, they just feel like I have to cook for my husband, I have to breastfeed my children, I have to pick them from school.
Because society expects
Then you
them
go home and you cry and you stop your career, you can't do anything, then you blame everybody. You took that choice.
My name is Mike Mina. I work in communications at the International Committee of the Red Cross in Kenya. I'm a Kenyan and I love Kenya. One of the reasons why I love Kenya is because of the weather. Look, I'm an outdoor person and the weather here allows me to be myself. It allows me to have fun because it doesn't get too hot, it doesn't get too cold. So throughout the year, there's always something to do for me. And the other thing that I really love about Kenya is the landscapes. I mean, just look at this. Quite beautiful. This is a town called Magadi, 3 hours from Nairobi, famously known for bird watching, production of sauce, and for people who love the outdoors like myself, this is a great spot for landscape and nature photography. I love spending time with people. We are in Lamu. Lamu is a coastal town in Kenya, very beautiful place, a World Heritage town famously known for its rich cultural and built heritage. But despite this beauty and heritage, some areas in Lamu have been experiencing insecurity over the years. For example, back in 2014, there is a town that was attacked, leaving many widows behind with their children. Now, working with our main partners in Kenya, the Kenya Red Cross, we assisted some of these women to start small businesses in order for them to sustain their families. But not just the widows, we are also working with fishing communities to boost their income by providing them with boat engines, cooler boxes, nets, and other equipment to upscale their businesses and better support their families. We've also supported some youth to undertake professional certification at a marine college, and this increases their chance of getting jobs in the marine industry. Kenya is a key humanitarian and diplomatic hub that hosts different international organizations and institutions. Through various platforms, we engage these institutions to explain and advance our positions on different humanitarian issues and raise awareness of humanitarian needs of the communities that we serve. For many years, Kenya has hosted refugees from neighboring countries, and again, working with the Kenya Red Cross, we support the tracing and reunification of separated families in these camps. Our work here in Nairobi also has a lot of global significance for ICRC's operations. For example, the Logistics Support Center that is based in Nairobi is the second largest logistics support center in the whole of ICRC's global logistic network. And this Logistics Support Center plays a very key role in the delivery of humanitarian aid and other supplies and equipment in the region. At the end of the day for me, working with the ICRC among an amazing network of people, reaching out to others at their time of need is a great, great privilege that gives me most joy and purpose in the course of my work.
What is a democracy? It's a government of all of us for all of us. So when we try to paint that picture, like you mentioned in your advocacy, they call you a hater.
The police remains brutal. They continue to do the same thing they were doing before that time. So can we just get more participatory in the process, including this generation?
Where is the hope? What's going to change? How is it going to change?
The lesson is that we need each other. And so this idea of we are better off than these other people, we should drop it.
Unfortunately, we live in a country of compromise that clearly, actually militantly, says we don't want the best. Just give us the one that is okay.
We have seen that the street did not deliver much dividend. It didn't. As a matter of fact, the people in power cowered them into submission. Let's get more involved.
We're at the pyramids of Meroe, the graves of the kings and of the queens of Meroe in northern Sudan along the River Nile. An empire which stretched from here in Sudan all the way to Jerusalem, to the southern Lebanon, where the 25th dynasty of the pharaohs was contesting the world with the Assyrians. So we're in a very, very historic place, in a very symbolic place as well for this ancient civilization of Sudan. What's not obvious is the diversity of the people, first of all, but also the diversity of the landscapes. From a basically tropical, full of water south to a desert, this is one thing. The other thing is also the depth of history. It's easy to hear that, yes, there are more pyramids in Sudan than in Egypt, but you really have to ask people and to read up in order to understand, if you're not a specialist of this history, in order to understand what this actually represents here. And it's not just the place we are here now at. Simply one of the great civilizations of this world, which has conquered and defended and conquered again and lost and conquered again big swaths of the antique world, and who has measured itself against the other big civilizations at the time. And somehow there is no way this cannot have an impact until today. And I think that's part of what you feel simply if you walk around. But you need to dig a little bit, or to travel a little bit to places where hardly ever anybody comes to, like the one we are here, the heart of an ancient super kingdom. In Sudan, you can walk in Khartoum at night, you can sit down anywhere, drink coffee or a tea, and nobody will bother. Not because they ignore you or they disrespect you, but they don't bother. You're just part of being there, and that's fine for everybody. It's this incredibly generous, open-hearted atmosphere of people who are just incredibly nice. I have not seen that anywhere else. And it's something I personally have the impression nobody knows who has not been to Sudan. You really have to be here to understand what it means to encounter people who are so at ease with themselves and that they can be so generous with everybody else. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. We have seen over recent decades a brutal civil war in the south, which has led to the split up of the country in two. Then everybody is aware of Darfur with untold suffering. And we are still in a situation where you have both in Darfur ongoing remnants of this big conflict. It's smaller now, but it's still there. And where you have in the south of Sudan, in two states, Blue Nile and South Kordofan particularly, where you have a combination of displacement, refugees, and ongoing fighting, which continues to affect tens and hundreds of thousands of people in this country. Yes, we are assisting with food. Yes, we're assisting with health or education or bringing families back together. But in the end, it's about the dignity of the people. Where you see it maybe most, in the work we're doing here in Sudan, most immediately, is when somebody who cannot walk anymore because he or she lost a leg is then suddenly able to lead a normal life because this limb has been artificially replaced. And it's not artificial dignity, it's real dignity, but through an artificial means. So this giving back some self-respect to people who have gone through the worst in life is something which makes you get up in the morning and want to do more of that. What gives me, in the end, the biggest joy is to be able to make a difference for individuals, for an individual human being who is affected by a horrible environment. Yes, we do work for numbers, but in the end, you look at the difference you can make to one person and to these many one persons.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already.
I am not hungry. If I need appointment, all I need to do is to start praising government.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say. The moment we stop having charlatans occupy political offices, we will curtail hate speech.
Plus Politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, they go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
Contrary to popular belief, Corona is not a hoax. The virus is real. Be responsible. Wear a mask. Wash your hands with soap and water and avoid crowded places. Maintain physical distancing. Be responsible. Together, we can overcome the pandemic.
Well, thanks for joining us on Plus News Update. I am Vivian Oguche. So, gunmen have killed a young man during an attack on his father's house in Kawo, a community in Jigawa State. The police public relations officer, Zahraddeen Aminuddin, confirmed the incident to newsmen. He identified a 25-year-old victim as Sabo Yusuf, saying his father's house came under attack very early on Wednesday morning. During the incident, which occurred in Birnin-Kudu local government area, the assailants also kidnapped the mother and brother of the victim. This comes less than 1 week after gunmen killed a police officer who was trying to rescue some kidnapped victims in Megatari local government area. And in Plateau State, troops attached to the Special Task Force Operation Safe Haven have shot dead an armed robbery suspect at Kutaya Street in Jengri, Basa local government area of the state. The troops were stationed for maintaining peace in Plateau and some parts of Kaduna, as well as Bauchi states, and were responding to a distress call when it engaged some bandits in a gun duel. Commander of the task force, Major General Dominic Onyemelu, said 2 other members of the criminal gang escaped with bullet wounds. He also said 1 AK-47, a fabricated rifle, an automatic pistol, among others, were recovered from the scene. Well, more news now. A federal high court, Abuja, Justice Taiwo has adjourned a hearing on a motion filed by the Nigerian police seeking a discontinuance of charges it had filed against former governor of Imo State, Ikedi Ohakim. The charges bordered on allegations by Wanchinyere Amuchingwa that her nude video was photoshopped. The allegation had also prompted another suit brought by barrister Aloy Ejimako on behalf of former governor Ohakim. At the hearing, a mild drama ensued when a lawyer from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation appeared in court with a letter written to the Nigeria police indicating that the Attorney General of the Federation desired to take over the matter. Meanwhile, over 1,000 civil servants blocked the entrance gate to the Imo State Government House in Owerri. The civil servants who arrived at the Government House as early as 8 a.m. stopped vehicles from going in and out of the premises. The development caused panic at the Government House as security men manning the gate battled in vain to disperse the protesting civil servants carrying their letters of appointments and postings. The resolute civil servants said that they were at the Government House to prove to the state governor, Hope Zodima, that they were not ghost workers.
Most of us have been old for a year, some 11 months, some 10 months. Personally, I'm being old for
Okay. What is the compliance of the state government?
There is no compliance from the state. They are always using one trick or the other to overwhelm us from time to time. Initially, they were saying it was the BVN and account number problem or clash. It has been corrected and nothing has been done. And even if it is done, they have not been able to go to their data bank to do some level of corrections on it. So all of us have been old. Till now, for somebody to be old for 1 year or a year and a month means we are under suffering. We cannot continue like this.
We come here today because of unpaid salary of workers of Imo State that have been owned many 12 years, many 11 months, many 9 months. Many people, they have been paying them and be skipping and putting more people inside. That is why we are here to declare that we are not a ghost. We are a living.
Staying with Imo State, the State Police Command has paraded the suspects who allegedly kidnapped the auxiliary bishop of Owerri Archdiocese, Moses Chikwe, and his driver on the 27th of December 2020. Briefing newsmen at the command headquarters in Owerri, the police public relations officer Orlando Ikyoku said the 3 suspects were arrested following a painstaking investigation. The suspects claim they never knew he was a bishop.
On the 27th December 2020, Imo State made headlines with the kidnap of the auxiliary bishop of Owerri Archdiocese, Bishop Moses Chikwe, and his driver, Ndubisi Robert. As a result of that, operatives of the command swung into action, and by the grace of God, During a strategized and coordinated operation, we were able to secure the release of the bishop, his driver, and other people held captives unhurt without any ransom paid.
So that day now, after that day, in the night, when we are driving back, we saw a car and we traced the car. So once we are tracing the car, we block the driver blocked the car. And when he blocked the car, we bring two people inside, one driver and one man wearing white garment. The man said that he's a bishop. I said to him, let him leave the man. He commanded us to put that man inside the motor. We'll take the man to the keke bus. He said, no, let us put the man inside his vehicle. We'll carry that man and his driver to his car.
In Ekiti, the state government says none of the 280 persons that have so far received the AstraZeneca vaccine against COVID-19 in the state show any adverse effect. The Senior Special Assistant SSA to Governor Kayode Fayemi on public health made a clarification at a media briefing in Ado-Ekiti on Thursday. The SSA also disclosed that a total of 50,000 persons will be vaccinated in the first phase of the exercise, with frontline medical and public officers benefiting first before people at the local level. And to other parts of Africa now, Tanzania's President John Magufuli has died from heart disease following an 18-day absence from public life. The opposition has urged the immediate swearing-in of Vice President Samia Hassan as successor to avoid a constitutional vacuum. Magufuli's death is the first of a Tanzanian leader while in office. It also opens the prospect that the country will gain its first female president. The Constitution says 61-year-old Hassan should assume the presidency for the remainder of the 5-year term that Magufuli began serving last year after winning a second term. Hassan addressed the nation on television late on Wednesday, saying burial arrangements were underway. And outside Africa now, the World Health Organization's European director says that the benefits of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine far outweigh any risks, and countries across Europe should continue to use it to help save lives. He noted that Europe's medicines regulators are investigating a small number of cases of blood clots in the region that have prompted around a dozen EU governments to suspend use of the AstraZeneca shot.
Venous thromboembolism is the third most common cardiovascular disease in the world. It happens in populations regardless of whether they are vaccinated or not. COVID-19 vaccination will not reduce illness or deaths from other causes. As of now, we do not know whether some or all of the conditions have been caused by the vaccine or by other coincidental factors. WHO is assessing the latest safety data, and once completed, the findings will be made public. At this point in time, however, the benefits of the AstraZeneca vaccine far outweigh its risk, and its use should continue to save lives. We need to keep the confidence. If it's lost, we need to restore it, particularly for AstraZeneca, which is the big supplier to the COVAX facility, which is the only facility which is really looking at a equitable access. So it's about being transparent, showing empathy, and being competent.
And News Just Reaching Plus TV says that WHO has certified the AstraZeneca vaccine. And now 4 people were killed and 9 others wounded when a roadside bomb hit a bus carrying Afghan government employees in Kabul on Thursday, the 18th of March. A ministry advisor, Abdul Hamid Poya, said the bus was rented by the Afghan Ministry of Information and Technology to transport employees. No one claimed immediate responsibility for the blast, but the Afghan government has blamed Taliban insurgents for recent attacks targeting government employees, civil society figures, and journalists. The Taliban has, however, denied involvement in the campaign. The bombing comes on the day the Afghan government, Taliban, and key countries, including the United States and Russia, gather in Moscow to push for a reduction in violence to propel the Afghan peace process forward. Well, business news now. The latest monthly report of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries has shown that Nigeria increased its crude oil production to 1.42 million barrels per day in February. The country recorded the biggest increase in crude oil production last month among its peers in OPEC. In its monthly oil market report for March, the country's oil production rose by 63,000 barrels to 1.42 million barrels per day in February, based on direct communication. Nigeria produced 1.49 million barrels per day in February, up by 161,000 barrels from 1.33 million barrels per day in January, according to secondary sources. Well, still business news, gold deposits have been discovered along the Abuja-Nasarawa axis through the National Integrated Mineral Exploration Project being undertaken by the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, announced these while playing host to the Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, in Abuja. The minister told his guests that the ministry will develop the mineral resources in Nasarawa. He also said his ministry was resolved to avoid a repeat of the Zamfara experience, where bandits were largely in charge of the gold mining in Nasarawa State. And some sports news now. Vanessa Bryant is taking legal action against 4 deputies in LA County Sheriff's Office who allegedly leaked photos of the helicopter crash site where Gianna and Kobe Bryant and others perished. The court documents are an additional amendment to her civil lawsuit against the Los Angeles County Sheriff, Alex Venhoover, and his department, which she filed last September. In the amendment, Vanessa accuses the defendants of negligence, invasion of privacy, and violating the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. She has requested that they face trial by jury. And elsewhere, Tokyo Olympics creative head Hiroshi Sasaki says he is stepping down after making a derogatory comment about a popular female Japanese entertainer. It is the latest controversy over insensitive remarks towards women to hit games organizers. Sasaki said he had told the planning group through a group chat that Japanese comedian and actress Naomi Watanabe could play a role as an Olympic. Sasaki admitted that his remarks was very inappropriate, and he apologized to her and people who have felt discomfort with it. Last month, Hishiro Mori stepped down from his role as president of the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee after causing a furor with sexist remarks when he said women talk too much. Well, that does it for us this hour. For more, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook,